Hi guys, so today I'm here with a bit of a different video. I wanted to go through my single eyeshadows and declutter a few of them because I don't reach for these single eyeshadows too much, and I just feel like I have a lot of duplicates and I have things that I don't really use that often. So I just thought I would go through them and show you what I declutter. I don't feel like it's going to be a massive declutter because I do love a lot of these products, but yeah, I just wanted to show you through the process. And I think how I'm going to start is I'm going to kind of take all of these out and categorize them by color and start with it that way. So here are all my eyeshadows laid out, and like I said, I'm going to start by kind of put them into categories by colors. Some of these categories will be kind of mixed together because of course I don't really have that many colorful eyeshadows, so I'll probably put all of those in one category apart from the purples because I have a few purples. But I will start by doing that, and then we will start kind of declutter at that point. I'm having a hard time fitting all of these in frames, so I'm just going to kind of push some of them to the side and go through a few of them to start with. And I'm going to start by removing this massive pile of kind of cool tone browns to start with, like I said, and then we'll move from there. I'm also going to remove these kind of darker browns up here because I want to start with these colors. So there we go, that is the first kind of 3 categories, or it's actually 4, sorry, categories that we're going to go through. And I'm going to start with kind of the easiest one for me, and that is going to be colorful eyeshadows, and kind of these random ones here. Definite keep for me is going to be this one, which is Jester from Makeup Geek. I love this eyeshadow. Same with this one, which is Fortune Teller, also from Makeup Geek. I love this eyeshadow. These are 2 of my favorites. I do really like this green as well. It's from the Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette. I think it might be quite similar to Jester, but I just love both of these too much. The Wet n Wild one is a bit lighter than Jester, but yeah, I want to keep this one as well. This blue one is Pegasus from Makeup Geek, and I do like this one too. I don't wear it as much because it is more of an intense color, but I do really like it, so I want to keep this one as well. And then for this one, which is Untamed, again from Makeup Geek, I have a few of them. This one is more of a kind of coppery gold, and I really like it. It's quite unique in my collection still. It could potentially have gone into this kind of warmer category here, but I don't have anything like it exactly, so I want to keep it in the colorful category, but I do want to keep this one as well. Then for these last 2 ones, this red one here is from H&M. I can't remember what it's called, but like I said, it's just this red eyeshadow. It's a bit kind of hard to pick up pigment with, but I do really like it, and I do want to keep this one. However, this last one, which is this green right here, is just one from Wet n Wild again, and I kept this because I didn't really have any matte greens in my collection, but I have since picked up the Just My Luck palette, and I feel like this is kind of unnecessary to have in my collection, so this one will be decluttered. I'm going to move on to these purples now. I think I'm going to start by splitting this into 2 categories because I did kind of purpley pinks, and some of these are definitely different than others. So I'm going to start by cutting this into 2 like that and tackle this one here first. So this here is more of the cool tone purples, and the first thing I will want to compare are these 2 right here. This is a shadow from MAC in, I think, Boom Boom Room. I think that's what it's called. It looks like that. It's very pretty. Kind of that purpley base with a blue shift to it, but that really reminds me of Alchemy from Nabla. and I do really like this one as well. And yeah, they are very similar. I don't know how much you can tell on camera. They have a slightly different undertone, but I feel like I don't need both of them. And I do prefer this Nabla one. I had this in my Pan eyeshadows last year and I really like it. So I want to keep this one, which means that I probably will declutter the Boom 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 from MAC. With this eyeshadow though, I'm going to come back to it later, but I will put it in the declutter pile for now. Next up, we're gonna compare these kind of matte purples because I have 3 of these mattes and I don't know if I need all 3 of them. So this first one is Wisteria from Makeup Geek. I do really like this shade. It is swatched right there. Then next to it I'm gonna swatch this one, which is Hopscotch, also from Makeup Geek. This one is a bit more cooler toned and it's swatched right there next to it. And then lastly we have Mött & Wild shade. This is from, I think, the Quad Color in the Street, which these kind of Wet n Wild colorful ones will be from. And I do like it. And I feel like it is slightly different than other ones, but at the same time, if I mix these two, I think I can kind of get this shade. So it is a pretty one, but since I have the other two from Makeup Geek and I prefer the brown pants from those, I will declutter this one as well. Then for these last two, Shimmery Purple, they are both very different, so I'm going to keep both. This is from Makeup Geek again, and it's in Plot Twist. I like this one. And then lastly we have this shade, which I believe is from NYX. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a really pretty shade. So then let's go back to these kind of pinker, warmer, reddish tones. I know for a fact that this one, which is from MAC, is quite similar to another shade that I have. This is in Amorous Alloy. It is a beautiful shade, but I think the one it's close to is Antiqued, which I have right here. And yeah, you can see they are very close. I feel like I do actually prefer the MAC Amorous Alloy to MAC Antiqued. But this one you can't depot because it's kind of different formula. I tried to do it and this happened, so it's loose in the pan. Well, what I might try to do is I might actually take this eyeshadow out and try to repress this into here because I do prefer it. And I feel like it's just kind of a nicer shade, but I will have to think if I want to actually risk doing that or if I just want to keep this one. I actually have some metal pans coming in the mail, so I may actually try to repress this first, and if it works I will keep this one. Otherwise I will just stick with the one that I already have in Antique, but one of these two will go. So moving on, I know these two are quite similar. Both are from MAC. This one I know is Cranberry and I think this one is Coppering. I think, like I said, they are very similar. And they look like this. One is more kind of purple and one is more kind of orange based. Actually they're not too similar when you swatch them out. I do want to swatch Antique next to these as well, just to see what they look like and see if they are too similar. So this is when it gets hard because of course all 3 of these are different. But keeping Antiqued, I feel like I have that kind of purpley or like dark vampy shade that I want to have in my collection. And I feel like I have some colors coming in and I feel like I would reach for them more compared to this one. So I'm actually going to declutter Cranberry from MAC and I'm going to keep Coppering for now. Then quickly let's just go through this one because it's the only matte that we have left. This one is from Makeup Geek and it's in Mango Tango. I really like this one. I had this in my Pan eyeshadows again. And yeah, I'm going to keep it because I don't have anything else like in my collection. And then these last two are two kind of shimmery pinkish shades. This one is a duochrome from Makeup Geek and I do really like it. It's called Mai Tai. Yeah, it's called Mai Tai. And it's this kind of like peach pinky golden shade and I do like it. It's not the most intense duochrome, but I think it's quite unique still and I don't have anything else like it, so I am going to keep this one. And then lastly we have this one, which is actually a Franken shadow that I created. And I do like how the tone came out, but it's not as shimmery as I wanted it to be. I think I'm going to keep this, but what I want to try to do, and that's where this shade comes back, I want to try to mix these two to give this one some more shimmer and kind of like reflect to it. And if that turns out good, I'm going to keep that kind of mix. Otherwise I will declutter this one as well. But I will keep this in my palette for now, but I will kind of re-franken this to make a color that I enjoy more. Okay, so before we move into these oranges, I'm just going to go through these really quickly because I'm gonna move fast through these. So these are the only kind of really light shades that I have in my C palettes. This one is a brow bone shade from, I believe, again, the Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette. Could be another palette though, I'm not completely sure, but I am going to keep this because this is the only shimmery kind of in a corner shade that I have. So this is staying. And then next up we have a shade from Isadora. You will see that I have a few of these in this collection, and this is the only kind of cream eyeshadow that I have. I have it pan on it, but I do like it, so this one is going to stay. Then moving on to these kind of orangey shade, again I'm going to split them and do these kind of more orangey ones, and then the kind of more neutral warm on the side. So I'm going to start with these. This one I'm definitely going to keep. I really love this one. It's again a kind of a duochrome from NARS, and the shade is Outer Limits. Had this in a project and I do love how this looks, so it's going to stay. And then these two I kind of want to swatch and compare. This one is from H&M again. I think it's called Turmeric. It's kind of swatches better than the other one I showed you before, but I do really like it. And then this one is Chickadee from Makeup Geek. I do like this one as well. And I think they are quite similar, to be honest, but this one is just a bit more yellow and this one is slightly more orange. And it might be a bit excessive to keep both, but I am going to keep them for now. And then if I don't reach for the H&M one in the next kind of couple of months, I will declutter that one, because I think if anything I would keep the Makeup Geek one because I prefer the formula. But for now I'm going to keep them both. Then again, I'm going to compare these two. This one is from MAC and it's in the shade Rule, and this one is from the Wet n Wild Color in the Street quad again. It's not a quad, but the palette. This one is kind of, I believe, going to be more orange, and the other one is going to be a bit more neutral, I think. But let's just watch them and see. Yeah, so as I suspected, the one from Wet n Wild is a bit more kind of vibrant orange, and this one is a bit more neutral and kind of peachy. But I don't reach for these oranges that much, and I don't really like the formula in the Wet n Wild too much, so I'm going to declutter this one and keep the one from MAC. And then next up we're moving on to these right here, which are kind of the more neutral warm eyeshadows that I have. The first one I'm definitely going to keep is this one, which is a matte eyeshadow from Makeup Geek. This one is in Peach Smoothie. I currently, as of filming this, have this in my makeup basket, my Shop My Stash, and I've been absolutely in love with this shade. I love it and I'm definitely going to keep it. Then I'm also going to keep this one, which is a matte eyeshadow from MAC. Can't remember which one this is, but I think it might be soft brown, but again I can't really remember, I don't have the label on it, but I do like this one, but it's the only matte that I have in this kind of shade. The next up, I think we're going to compare these two. I believe this one is Soba from MAC, and I believe this one is Woodwinked. I don't have labels on them again, but I feel like these look quite similar, but let's see. I mean, they're not exact dupes, actually they're quite different. This one is more of a satin and this one is more of a shimmer. I do actually quite like both of them, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and keep both because they are still quite different. Then let's go ahead and just swatch out the last four ones. I just want to see how they compare when I swatched on my hand. So here they are swatched out on my hand, and they are all stunning. I feel like they're all quite different as well, which just makes it a bit harder. However, I want to go back and swatch all the glitters next to the Wet n Wild shade, because I feel like they would be quite similar, and I think they are actually quite similar, and because of that I'm going to declutter the Wet n Wild shade to start with, and it's really hard. This one here is from Anastasia and it's in the shade Gem, which is this swatch right here. Then we have, I think this is MAC All That Glitters, which is this one here, and then lastly we have this shade from H&M, which I think is Ginger, but don't quote me on that. And again, they are quite different, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep all of them for now. So let's go ahead and tackle these darker shades right here. I think I'm gonna start by comparing these two because they are both quite dark browns. This one is from NARS in Coconut Grove, and this one is MAC's Handwritten. So these are them. Let's just swatch them out on my hand as well. So I feel like they are quite different still. This one is more of a black base and this has more of a purpley base, which I like. And also this one is an MLC palette, so I think I'm gonna keep both of them for now. I might declutter the MAC one at a later time, but for now I do like them both. However, an easy declutter for me will be this shade right here. This is Galaxy from Kicks, which is a Swedish makeup brand. It's kind of like a store in Sweden. This one is just a black with glitter in it, and it is stunning when you swatch it out. You can see the glitter, but I just never reach for these shades, so because of that I'm going to declutter it. Then an easy one again, I am going to keep this brown because it's the only matte brown I have in this kind of shade again, so this one will be staying. This one is again from Isadora. It's the same palette as the lighter creamy shade that I showed before, and it's used Depotted. Next up, I kind of want to compare these three right here. I think this one will be a bit different, but I still want to compare them, so I'm just going to go ahead and swatch them out. So there we have them swatched out. The first one here is Club from MAC. This one is from the Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette, and this last one is, I think it is Absinthe from Nabla. These two are very similar. They're both kind of that brown blue pigments. However, the Wet n Wild shade is actually surprisingly better than the MAC one. The MAC one is quite old, so that may be one of the reasons. So I am going to declutter this MAC eyeshadow, and I'm going to keep the Wet n Wild one. However, I do prefer these round pans, so I might actually throw this out and repress this into this pan. And then for Nabla Absinthe, I still feel like it's different enough to keep that one as well, so this one will be staying. The next up we have this shade right here, which is Lancome eyeshadow, which I depotted. I don't know what the shade is, but this is its swatch right there. I do like it. It's a nice kind of bronzy shade. However, I don't really reach for these shades too often, so I will declutter this one because I have other shades that I used to reach for more. Then moving on to the last category right here, which is kind of taupey browns. I have quite a few of them to go through, so I will start again by kind of dividing these into different categories, and then we can compare them. So I think this kind of is how I want to do it. We have a few categories here. I don't know what is clear or not. This one right here I'm definitely going to keep. I don't have anything like it. It's just this nice silver shade, and it looks like this. This is from the NARS Dual Intensity Eyeshadows in the shade Calistro. I really like it, so this one is staying. Then when it comes to the other ones, I'm going to start with the smallest category, which is these three shades right here. Again, I'm going to go ahead and swatch them out so we can compare them on my hand. So here we have those three shades swatched out. The first one right here is the Burberry shade Impale Barley. This next one is from MAC. I think the shade is Patina, but I can't remember. I don't have a label on it. And this last one is just a Wet n Wild shade. I believe again this is from the Comfort Zone palette. So with these three, I'm definitely going to keep this Wet n Wild one. It's actually surprisingly nice, and it's very shiny, and I do like it. Again, I might repress this into a round pan when I get it, because I do really prefer those, but this one is staying. Then next up we have these two right here. I am going to keep the Burberry one because I do really like it, and it's very luxurious, and I feel like the quality is still really good, so I'm going to keep this one as well. But then lastly we have this one, which I'm so torn about because I do like it. I feel like it's a nice kind of just all over the lid shade, kind of blending out in the crease because it is more of a satin. But I feel like I have other shades and I don't really do those looks quite often. I also want to kind of swatch it next to Soba because I feel like that is a similar kind of eyeshadow, which is this one right here. So there we have them swatched next to each other, and that is Soba and Patina. And I do like them both. It's really hard because I feel like I don't reach for these shades that often, but when I swatch it out, it's just beautiful. So I feel like for now I'm actually going to keep this one as well. But again, if I don't reach for this one in the next year or so, I am definitely going to declutter it. Then while we're on shimmery shades, let's just go through these right here. I have a few of them. So I think again I'm just going to swatch them out so we can compare them on my hand. So there we have those 5 swatched out on my hand. The annoying part is I feel like they are all quite different. I really like this one, which is the YSL shade right here, which is surprising because I had thought about decluttering this one. This is one of the Couture Monos in shade number 5. But I feel like that's just because I don't reach for these single shadows that often. So again, what I might do is I actually might repress this into a round pan and see if I reach for it more that way. Yeah, because I don't reach for it, but it's a beautiful shade right there. So this one is going to stay as well. When it comes to these, I feel like this one is quite similar to both of these. Sorry about the light changing. And it's really hard. I feel like my least favorite out of those 3 is this one, which is my MAC Satin Taupe. I recently had this in my Pan eyeshadows, so I have a pan on it. It's really difficult to decide, but I just feel like I don't love this shade anymore. When I did have it in my Panos eyeshadows, I did enjoy it. So I'm just really torn on what to do. But yeah, I just feel like I won't reach for this that much anymore, so I will declutter this one as well. That means that we have these 3 right here left. This one is quite different. I think this is Midnight Brown from Burberry. Yes, it is. I am going to keep that one because it's slightly darker than the rest of them and I don't have anything else like it. Then when it comes to these two, I feel like they are both different. This one I do really like. It's from Wet n Wild, and I think this is from the Silent Treatment trio, or I think that's what it's from. And I do like it, and I feel like this could potentially be an eyeshadow that I pan completely because the pans are very thin in these eyeshadows. So I am going to keep this one for now, and for the under Burberry shade, I think I'm going to keep this one as well. These are just so luxurious and nice, and I like this shade as well. So we made it to the end, you guys. We have these 4 eyeshadows left. Again, I'm going to swatch them out just to compare them. I feel like that is easiest. So here we have those 4 swatched out. This one right here is from, actually the 2 on the ends are both from an Isadora palette. It's the last 2 from that palette that I depotted, which I mentioned before. And then this one is Petal Pusher from Makeup Geek. And then lastly we have this one, which I think is Corey from MAC. It's hard again because I feel like these are all different, but I feel like these 3 are the ones I want to keep. And this one I like it, but I feel like it's just kind of blends away, as you can see. I have worn it a bit, but I feel like it can get a similar effect with this shade right here. So I'm going to keep these 3 and declutter this last shade here. So here, you guys, we are done. These are all the shades that I'm keeping. Like I said, I didn't kind of foresee this to be a massive declutter, but I'm actually really happy with what I decluttered. It was way more than I thought it would be. I'm just going to count these up to see how many I kept and how many I decluttered. So I ended up keeping 45 eyeshadows and I'm decluttering 12. So again, not amazing, but I still feel like that's pretty good. So that is the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please go ahead and give this a thumbs up. And I will talk to you in my next video. Bye, guys!